It is time once again for the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. Let's take a look at where some of our favorite tickers are this week. Where have they landed? Where are they going? What are we seeing that looks good and bad? Let's get right into it, starting as usual with CleanSpark. So CleanSpark was up 8.52% this week off of that great earnings report where they beat by over 1,000% on their earnings per share. We saw a lot of that given back throughout the day, though, so that was a bit of a lackluster thing. Now, largely that was due to the fact that it came just into the zone where a lot of people that got trapped under 13 bucks were breaking even or slightly in the negative enough to where they were willing to tolerate taking that loss. And that's why we're getting that big wick on top. I don't think we're looking at dilution any longer, especially since CleanSpark has self-reported at their earnings report that they are fully funded throughout the rest of the year. They are not doing any more ATMs, really any new additional ATMs, and they have that, well, they had the buyback program that they announced before. They also have $600 some odd million of convertible notes that they can issue versus diluting. So I don't think they're doing much in the way of dilution anymore. Now, what are we looking at here? So we've got the 200 week moving average. We tapped that early in the week and we drove up from there. Right now, our mark is $12. See that on orange on the right there? That's the 50-week moving average at $11.99. We get above $12. That's going to unlock us up to about 15. Once we get to 15, that's when we have to contend with this big Goliath of resistance right here. That is from basically all of 2024, or at least the first half of 2024. We will have to face that between $15 to $18. Once we're over $18 and these wicks are somewhere that we're living inside of from that point forward, then we have the ability to go higher. But right now, this isn't so bad. We came down into the 100 weekly moving average, which was below the 200 for a while there. And we had crossed up on that, the 100 over the 200 week moving average crossed up here actually on January 13th. We got that cross up there. Now what we're looking for is for these three up here, the 20, the 30, and the 50 to all stay up and above the 200 and the 100 and to start curling back up. You can see 50 is kind of going flat, like it was negative, then went up, then started looking down again, and it's starting to go flat one more time. We really want to see that on CleanSpark and see CleanSpark get up to $15, where it will struggle up to 18, and then from there, we're going to fly. If we get over 18, that would be fantastic. Okay. There is no, it's no surprise that CleanSpark has marked $18 as the level it needs to get above to where they can change the strike price of the warrants to $18 if it trades above that for 20 days out of a 30-day rolling period. No surprise, because 18 is going to be a struggle, and once it gets over that, I think that they very likely will reward us with that, and then the warrants will see significant upside. Anyways, let's take a look at Mara. How's Mara doing? Mara sucks. All right, this sucks. This is a gross candle. You can see in the BX trender we're deeper in the red here. Stochastics look like garbage. This candle sucks. This is bad. We're at the very bottom of the range. We have the candle body for this week completely below the lowest point in the last several months here. Okay, completely below it. Completely below it. This is trash. This is terrible. Get it together, Mara. Get it together. Now, the only saving grace here is that we're above the 100-week moving average, which is there in yellow. It's the only good thing about this. We have to get back above $20. Mara is basically in the gutter until we get back above $20. Okay, that is how Mara is. It's likely, unless something significant changes this month, it's not going to happen this month. And if it doesn't happen this month, it's unlikely to happen next month. We might not see that really happen until July. That is a real possibility that we could be stuck in the dumps for Mara all the way until July. And unless something changes by then, we might still see it there as well. Because Bitcoin's been trading up above $90,000 for about 3 months now, and Mara can't seem to get above $20 for more than a month or two out of any amount of time. Like, so basically, since this candle here, November, like early November, Mara Bitcoin's been trading over $90,000, and we only had one little peak where we just barely peaked above $20, which is, I mean, we were above it for the majority of 2023, the majority of 2024, or not the majority, the first half of 2024 anyways. We were above that $20 range there, like right above it, just above it, or hanging out near it. Now we're hanging out below it, and we've been hanging out below it for a while. This is frustrating and difficult to look at for Mara. Mara has been performing terribly despite the fact that they own so much Bitcoin. So this is a bad candle this week. This one doesn't look good. It looks like it will likely continue to hang out in this space unless something changes, or their earnings, which are coming in on, if my computer would work, coming in apparently on March 30th. If those are good, maybe we'll see it go back up above $20, but that is really the mark. It needs to get above $20. Otherwise, we're going to hang out where we are or potentially go even lower on Mara. Btdt. They did negative 1.9% this week, so trash. BX Trender and the stochastics look terrible. We are barely hanging on to the 100-week moving average. The 200-week moving average is up here at 393, and it is facing straight down. As I said in yesterday's video, every green day I'm selling a little bit of Btdt. It's really looking like the future of it likely isn't going to be as predicted. Their AI side of the business, while I was very happy with that for a long time, the new and increased level of competition from overseas is going to be intense for them, and they're a small player. They could get eliminated. There's a real chance they could be eliminated in that space because of that, because of their small size. They have decreased their Bitcoin production. They're not really being rewarded for their Ethereum hold, and Ethereum's getting slammed. So I have been slowly getting out of Btdt. I'm still in profit. Hopefully you are too. But yeah, that's that. Btdt. It's not looking so good. It's hanging out at the very bottom of the range where it could stay for a while before it gets up again. It needs to get up above 334. And then even if it gets above 334, 360 and 393 are going to provide significant resistance on the way up here. We largely haven't gone through these moving averages without some kind of trouble in the past, so I don't expect that to be any different this time around either. Bitfarms did negative 2% this week. They are below every moving average I have, every single one of them. It went as low as 130 something this week. I don't really have anything good to say about this chart other than this looks like a bit of a falling wedge right here. That could be something good, maybe. Like this right here is looking a bit like a falling wedge. If we break this yellow trend line, maybe we can come back up to about 185, but I would not hold my breath waiting for it to go much higher than that in this move until something changes. Something's got to change in this trend, honestly. Until then, yeah, I'm not too bullish on what Bitfarms got going on right now, unless they have some huge thing that they haven't told us about yet, and they're going to keep that momentum going with not just one piece of news, but like one after another for weeks, driving us higher and higher with each one. That's the only way I see it coming out of this death spiral, is if they have something really amazing to announce, and then they've got like 6 other things lined up to continue that momentum with, much like Palantir, basically, where it's just good news after good news after good news, and every time we get good news, it goes even higher. Unless they've got like dozens of pieces of good news to unleash one after another to keep that momentum high, or Bitcoin is going to be like trading at $200,000 or something for a week straight without dipping at all. I don't really see Bitfarms coming out of that dive there anytime soon, unless barring that reality. Let's take a look at Riot. Had to breathe for a second. Riot holding above the 100, the 50, and the 20 and the 30 moving average there. We've got the 200-week moving average right at the top of this descending channel here, up at 1442. It's been holding stronger. It's been holding strong. I don't love that it keeps tapping this zone down here around low $11 range without making much of a higher high. In fact, it made a lower high last time. So Riot's it's starting to finally look a little weak. So I don't love that either. We got the BX Trender trending down. We've got the stochastics. We got pink on a pinch on the green, and if that turns purple, well, that's going to be bad as well. This cloud here is green, though, but it is shrinking, so it's not looking great. It's looking pretty neutral for Riot right now. Let's take a look at Iren. How's Iren doing? Iren actually was up 22% this week, more than CleanSpark, who reported great earnings, by the way. So Iren gets rewarded a lot. I've noticed Iren really gets rewarded for like any even halfway good news. every single time. I don't know why that is the case, but it is the case. You can see the BX trender is light red there, which is good. The stochastics, the short-term turned yellow and is starting to point up. The slow is purple, but it is trending upward and is getting kind of wispy as if it wants to turn green. We got the highs up here that it may want to revisit at 1552 around earnings next week, which I expect to be almost identical to CleanSpark because they're even more efficient. They have a similar exahash. I expect Iren to have very similar earnings results, and I expect them to potentially go up 20% and hold it for a day or two versus what CleanSpark did. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see next week Iren trading around $16 or so, at which point I will probably sell my shares for like 150% gain or so, something like that. I'll let it go there and then wait for it to reset sometime in the later spring or summer, potentially. That's my plan anyways. Let's take a look at Corz. Corz kind of getting trapped under this line. I really want to see it break this trend line before I'm feeling like it's going to go back up again. We are below the 30 moving average. We're below the 20 moving average. The BX trender is getting darker red there, so momentum is down. The stochastics are pointing down. I would wait on this one personally. I think it's got a date with this white line one more time, at least, before we see it starting to go back up again. It wants to test that because it's hitting resistance and failing, and then it's going to come back down to support where hopefully it will bounce. That's it for Corz. We're just kind of waiting for that. The AI surprise out of China really undid a lot of these AI based crypto, the Bitcoin miners, those ones. They really didn't like that. Wulf is up 5.45% this week. We're trying to come out of this this descending wedge here. We're trying to, but the BX trender and the stochastics are not looking like they want to agree with that. We barely clung to that 50-week moving average. Honestly, at this point, Wulf is looking pretty much like it's indecisive. It's currently very indecisive. We got identical back-to-back candles here, like this, but flipped, identical flipped yin-yang candles going on here for Wulf. I would wait. That's all I'd have to say about that. It doesn't look like it really wants to do anything in particular. Same thing with HUT. Exact same situation here. I got like these back-to-back yin-yang candles here, hanging out right on the 200-day moving or 200-week moving average there. It needs to get back up to this white line here, this trend line, and then break it to the upside, and then we can retest these highs at $30. But until then, it's looking very indecisive. It's looking very, very indecisive. Cifr is a little bit better. The stochastics are the right color and pointing the right way. The BX trender is getting lighter and smaller. That is always a good sign. We are holding in this area here. Cifr's building a base here between $5 and about $6, between $5 and $6. We're building a base here. At some point it will break out and probably test this high again. So this one's looking a little stronger. And it's building a base. It built a base back here for a couple of weeks, and now it's building that base slightly higher than the last couple of months there. So yeah, I like Cifr. Cifr still looks pretty strong here, as long as it doesn't break back below $5. Cifr's looking pretty strong. Let's take a look at HIVE. HIVE. Ooh, I don't hate this. Inverted hammer at the bottom of the move after a doji candle. Honestly, it's really just got to get above that 3. What is this? 346. Yeah, it's got to get above that 346 mark. As soon as it's above that, it's gonna run for $1 or $2, no problem. BX trender looks terrible. Stochastics look terrible. It's below all the moving averages, which are all bunched up like spaghetti there, except the 200, which is all the way up here at 621. HIVE, I really think HIVE has just got to accumulate down here for a little while, have an explosive move up to 346, cross 346, retest it from above, just like it did back here in October, and then launch from there. That's what I'm watching for HIVE. Let's take a look at Soluna. Soluna is just hanging out down here. It's just continuing to fall, like hang out near the bottom of the range. Honestly, nothing to report there. We're just waiting for it to make a move. Can is actually looking not great, but okay. It's creating a base here. As long as we don't lose 167, as long as it doesn't go and close lower than 167, I think Can will continue to base in this area. The BX trender doesn't look great, but it's not like accelerating to the downside a whole bunch yet. Stochastics are kind of going sideways. It looks like it may want to base in this area just under $2. And if you can get that base in there, right, and then it starts crawling up and opens or closes and then opens a new candle above 233, well, then CAN has the ability to run back to the highs and potentially even higher. Btdr, what's going on with Btdr? Let's take a look at the Btdr. Btdr has been selling off. You can see here on the BX trender, it's just been getting weaker and weaker and weaker. The stochastics are starting to go sideways, but the last one is starting to aim downward more so than go sideways. So that's not great. We are clinging to the 20-week moving average. We've got the 50 and the 30 down here at 1256 and 1240, and then the 100-week down at 945. Where's the 200-week? Do we have a 200-week? We don't. All right. So basically, as long as Btdr holds 1619, there is a good potential that it will go back up into the 20s and beyond. If it loses 1619 and opens a new candle beneath 1619, well, then it's going to come all the way back down to this white line down here around 1268. So watch that for Btdr. That's your area. That's your line in the sand. So anyways, I like to say, and of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. And that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.